Rochelle Harrison-Pless, who joins us from there. Rochelle, just tell us, first of all, exactly what has been announced here.
Well, the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, announced today that the Christmas Island detention centre, which has been closed since 2018, would be reopened as part of the government's contingency plan. It comes, as you said, in the wake of the government losing that historic vote in the lower house on Tuesday, a bill which then passed in the Senate this morning, 36 votes to 34, which was, of course, a real blow to the government's immigration policy. The legislation basically makes it easier for asylum seekers to get medical treatment in Australia. It gives doctors the power to recommend transfers to Australia for sick migrants on Manus Island and Nauru. This Christmas Island announcement really is the government making border protection a key battleground issue ahead of a federal election, which is coming up in May. The Morrison government's ramping up border security, with the Prime Minister saying it's his job to do everything in his power to stop the boats. So indeed, the government is furious. They say the bill compromises national security, and they say it's a green light. It's giving a green light to people smugglers. That said, we should mention that this new law actually only applies to migrants already on Manus Island and Nauru.
So, Rochelle, and why is the reopening of this camp so controversial here, then?
Well, offshore processing of asylum seekers has been ongoing since 2001. The current policy, Operation Sovereign Borders, has been ongoing since 2013. That's aimed at stopping boat arrivals of asylum seekers to Australia. The mandatory detention of asylum seekers, people seeking a better life in Australia, is very, very controversial. The UN has condemned the country, has accused it of breaching several international human rights laws. There have been many protests over the years over the conditions at these camps. Facilities have been compared to concentration camps, with human rights groups saying that the conditions are just downright inhumane. There have been, like I said, there have been many protests over the years with riots, hunger strikes, stories of self-harm, suicide, assault, and those sorts of things. As for Christmas Island itself, it was the scene of a mass tragedy back in 2010, something that many Australians remember. That's when 50 asylum seekers died. They drowned when the boat they were in crashed into rocks and capsized.
Rochelle, thanks very much. Rochelle Harrison-Pless, correspondent, speaking to us live there from Sydney.